Hello, and welcome to Emotional Badass. I'm your host, Nikki Eisenhower, life coach and psychotherapist, and this is where Moxie meets Mindful. On today's episode, we have a parable on boundaries for HSPs, introverts, extroverts, and empaths. This episode is for people who have wondered, what is it about me? So many people take and take and take and use and use and use. And if you've ever wondered why your relationships are so one-sided, so draining, exhausting, how out of balance they are, and what the damn solution is, the way out, what is the way out of this icky pattern, then this episode is for you. My audience for this show, we are the people with high empathy, which means we often develop codependency issues. Those of us that are empathic and highly sensitive, we attract some of the most draining personalities out there. Users and abusers can smell our sensitivity, our high empathy, and they want to feed on it. That's why we call them energy vampires. This story, this parable that I've crafted for you, I'm going to use myself as an example in this story. I hope will explain the process of what happens as we experience an awakening and as we try to change and better our lives. So I'm having a new beginning, and it can be any new beginning. It could be that I'm 18 and I want to leave my family of origin, move out into the world, get my own space. Maybe my new beginning is after college and I'm striking out on my own, starting my life. Maybe a new beginning is a marriage. Maybe a new beginning is a divorce. Maybe a new beginning is parenthood. Whatever your new beginning is, we're ready to start on it. And so here I am with myself, starting my life, starting this next part of my adventure. And I have this little plot of land and this little home, this space that I'm either renting or I bought, and it's my own, and I want it to be calm and peaceful and good. I wake up one morning and I see some people on the lawn backing up a truck. And I run outside because they're dumping on my lawn. And as I say, hey, what are you doing? You don't put that there. They say, oh no, I've been dumping here for years. I had an agreement with the last people that were here. I come and I dump here every now and then. I didn't like it. I don't like it. And so I clean it up. Something doesn't feel right. And the next day someone else comes. And the day after that, and there's all this dumping happening. People are knocking on my door. Someone walked inside and just took some dishes out of my kitchen and left. Someone knocked on the door and asked to use my car and got angry when I said no. Over and over again, people are just showing up and dumping, taking my peace, taking my focus, taking my time, my energy, and my money. It's costing me money picking up this trash from my lawn. I spent some time and energy putting flowers in and making the space beautiful and safe. And it doesn't feel safe anymore. But I've been going through this awakening, and I'm getting increasingly uncomfortable and overwhelmed handling all of this chaos that just dumps at my door. I don't have any room for my life, my dreams, my goals. I can't even find the space to define them or to dream them or to put them into action. I'm not sleeping very well and I'm starting to get headaches. I'm anxious every time a car passes by, wondering if they're going to stop and dump on me too. I'm having panic attacks. I'm getting more raw and emotional when I'm out in public. Someone was kind to me in the grocery store, and it made me cry because I felt so raw, so unseen, and so used in the very space that was supposed to be my sanctuary, my launching pad for my life. So I go to the library and I go to Amazon and I order all the books and I read all the books on boundaries. I'm smart. I know that this chaos needs boundaries. A few days later, I find a card to a fence company. So I call up this fence company and install this fence. And I feel a sense of relief because I'm happy and peaceful, having taken control of the situation, putting up this fence, doing this boundaries work that I've been reading about. And I really settle in that night thinking, I have this figured out. The next day I wake up and someone's in the yard. Another trash dump. There's bolt cutters leaning up against the side of the fence. They cut through the lock on my fence. I go to the store, I get another lock, I secure the fence, disappointed and defeated, but trying to convince myself it can't happen again. They'll get the point because I put the lock back up on the fence. And the next day I wake up and it's cut again. Maybe I should go get some help, I think. Oh, but I don't have the money to or the time. Who's going to watch the house and keep these dump trucks from dumping? I just paid for a fence. I can't pay for a helper to work with someone. Maybe I'll just get a dog. That'll do it. And after getting a dog, I wake up one day and there are people at the fence and they've dug holes under the fence. My dog's gone. When is this going to stop, I think? How do I make this stop when I can't control these people? What is it about me? What's wrong with me that they're lining up? There's more people than there ever were. Why do they feel entitled to dump in my space? Why won't they just let me live? Why can't they back off? What am I doing to deserve this? On another day, people climb the fence. I don't know where these people are coming from. Some are just dumping right at the fence line, hollering over their shoulder that they're respecting my boundary of the fence as they dump on the fence line. I lose it one day and scream in my yard, telling everyone to just go away and leave me alone. I'll call the police. I'll do anything. I'm terrified because I think I've made it worse. Now they're screaming at me more and more through the fence. An aunt I haven't seen in years is screaming about the birthday cakes she used to make me as a child, on how I should let her in because of that. Some are screaming that they feel abandoned. Some are screaming that I am mean and I am selfish for putting up a fence. Blood is thicker than water, the family members scream. I've been your friend since we were babies, scream others. Some even scream that it's my job to explain to them what I'm doing. But when I try, they don't listen. Do any of you identify with the buildup of this story? I've met so many of you who have done all the things, put up all the fences, read all the books, done all the meditating. I don't think we can do the amount of boundaries work that we need to do in isolation. There was no way that I could do the personal work in my life coming from the large dysfunctional family system that I did without help and support. Now, what is that help and support? It doesn't mean that my healer would drive to my house, drive through that chaotic mess of chaos and walk through it to my front door. But I could go and drive to my healers or have a virtual session with my healers to say, hey, it looks really crazy out here. They're screaming, they're pushing, they're cutting down all of my boundaries. They're dumping. I feel like I can't breathe. I can't think. Stay the course, said my healer. You're changing. They don't want you to change. If you want to change, you must stay the course. And over time, I learned how to internalize the steady strength that my healers could show me and demonstrate. Because the people on the other side of that fence that I put up could not teach me independence, could not teach me self-reliance, could not teach me dream attainment. They weren't out there living theirs. The people on the other side of the fence will only understand if they do their own work to achieve understanding. What that means is that the people on the other side of our fences need to have their own awakening if they are to understand. And we cannot force them to have an awakening. We can only manage our own awakening. If you'd like to work individually with me to stay the course, you can find me at NikkiEisenhauer.com to schedule your first session. Another option is to check out my self-directed course. This time of year, and we're getting into fall, is a great time to check this course out. I've renamed it. The new name of the course is Soul Care, Boundaries in Dysfunctional Relationships. It is 14 lessons. It has 91 actionable self-care tips, and it's self-directed, so you can move through it at your very own pace. When you ordered that online course, you get access to it for 3 years, so you can take your time, you can work through it, quickly and come back to it. It's a visual exercise course workbook that helps you intuitively move through some of your soul care. The old name of it was Intuitive Soul Care, How to Holiday, Celebrate, and Gather in Peace. Because over the years, so many of you have struggled with your boundaries around the holidays. That this was the first big course I've really created. I love the feedback for it. Just like the show, it will always be tweaking it, but that course sits on my site. Now I have plans to create that same course, but to add a guided version. But if you'd like a self-guided version, that version sits on my website and you can start it at any time. You're also welcome to use that workbook with a healer of your choice if you're already working with someone that you love. And you can find that on my website, NikkiEisenhauer.com, under courses. Use coupon code Emotional Badass to save 20% through 2018. If you'd like to support the show at patreon.com/Emotional Badass, that is how we fund the show. 10% of your donation is a double donation. You are donating to a future emotional badass. You can read about our last emotional badass that we picked at Patreon. And as always, those iTunes reviews, I'm so grateful for them. They're so sweet. They're so kind. I know you guys are busy. The 5-star reviews are what works that iTunes algorithm. So if you haven't given the show, our show, or any other show that you love a review yet, know that that's a big help on the business end of podcasting. So thank you so, so much. Take care of yourself. I will see you next time here on Emotional Badass, where Moxie meets Mindful. Bye-bye.